There are weeks that pass like ordinary wind, and there are weeks that open a hidden door in destiny. The last week of March is one of those rare thresholds. It does not simply bring pleasant surprises or a temporary streak of luck for 5 zodiac signs. It begins an entirely new era, a powerful 10-year cycle of happiness, expansion, wealth, recognition, and inner fulfillment. What begins now may look small at first. One phone call, one offer, one meeting, one brave decision, one sudden realization that you no longer want to live the old way. But do not underestimate the quiet beginnings of fate. The universe often whispers before it changes everything. This spring carries the energy of awakening, but for these 5 signs, it feels even bigger than that. It feels like life finally turning its face toward them. The last week of March brings a rare mix of bold momentum and divine timing. People who have waited, suffered in silence, worked without applause, doubted themselves, or felt overlooked may suddenly see doors opening where walls used to stand. Money will begin to move differently. Love will stop feeling like a battlefield and start feeling like a blessing. Careers will no longer crawl, they will rise. And perhaps most importantly, these signs will start to understand that success is not only about income, titles, or admiration. It is also about peace, confidence, beauty, freedom, and the feeling that your life is finally becoming your own. This is the kind of cycle that changes status, home, relationships, and self-worth. The kind that helps a person go from surviving to shining. Some of these signs will become magnets for wealth. Some will build names that people remember. Some will finally meet the kind of love that heals rather than wounds. Others will rise in career, open businesses, relocate, reinvent themselves, or step into leadership with a confidence they never had before. Between late March 2026 and the years ahead, these 5 signs are entering a long chapter of reward. Not effortless reward, but blessed reward. The kind that comes when preparation finally meets divine permission. And now, let us open the golden gate of this prophecy and reveal the first signs whose lives are about to change. Taurus. Taurus. The last week of March becomes your personal turning point, the moment when life begins to reward not just your patience, but your endurance. You are one of the signs entering a 10-year cycle of happiness that will be deeply connected to wealth, security, personal authority, and the ability to build something lasting. For too long, you may have felt that others were moving faster while you were still laying bricks one by one. But that was never failure. That was foundation. And now that foundation becomes your greatest advantage. Beginning in the last week of March, you may feel a subtle but unmistakable shift. The right people notice you, financial opportunities stop slipping away, and your energy becomes much more magnetic. You will no longer have to chase what is meant for you so desperately. Much of it will begin to recognize you on sight. This spring is especially important because it activates your money zone and your zone of self-worth at the same time. That combination is powerful. It means your success will not only come from luck, but from finally understanding your value and refusing to settle for less. Taurus can become incredibly rich during this cycle through real estate, beauty, fashion, agriculture, luxury goods, hospitality, finance, design, or any work that combines quality with long-term strategy. Your magic is not in quick chaos, it is in elegant growth. You know how to turn one small seed into a garden, one idea into an empire, one connection into a lifetime alliance. The years that look especially fortunate for you are 2026, 2028, 2031, and 2034. In 2026, the cycle begins with a breakthrough in work, income, or status. Many Taurians will receive a promotion, change careers for the better, launch a profitable side project, or finally attract the kind of clients and partners who respect their talent. 2028 brings expansion. This is a beautiful year for business growth, property purchases, investments, or building a strong public name. 2031 shines in love and emotional fulfillment. This is when many Taurus natives will either meet a deeply loyal partner or bring an existing relationship into a more serious and blessed chapter. 2034 becomes a legacy year. What you build by then can become stable, visible, and deeply rewarding, especially financially. In love, your luck will come not from drama, but from maturity. During this 10-year cycle, you become less attracted to chaos and more drawn to people who feel like peace. that alone changes your romantic destiny. You will be lucky in relationships that grow slowly but sincerely, in bonds based on trust, loyalty, sensuality, and shared values. In career, you will realize yourself most fully where you are respected for consistency, taste, leadership, and practical intelligence. You are not meant to be someone's backup plan. You are meant to become a standard. The last week of March may bring the first sign of this new era. Through money, news, a powerful conversation, a change in routine, or a sudden urge to stop playing small. Listen to it. Your happiness cycle begins the moment you stop asking whether you deserve abundance and start acting like you do. Leo, your 10-year cycle of happiness begins with fire, visibility, and a return to your natural throne. The last week of March lights up your destiny like a spotlight. What has been sleeping in you? Ambition, charisma, courage, desire, even hunger for a bigger life begins to wake up all at once. This is not a passing mood. This is the beginning of a decade in which you can become wildly successful, financially stronger, romantically more fulfilled, and far more influential than you have been in the past 10 years. You are entering a season where the universe stops asking you to hide your light and starts demanding that you use it. This spring will be incredibly important because it marks the rebirth of your confidence. And when Leo truly believes in their own power, very little can stop them. The last week of March may bring a message, a career opportunity, an invitation, travel luck, an audience, or a new idea that feels bigger than anything you have touched before. Follow what expands you. This new cycle favors Leos who are willing to be seen, to lead, to create, and to take up space without apology. You are especially lucky in fields connected to leadership, public speaking, media, education, performance, beauty, luxury, branding, entrepreneurship, politics, personal business, and all careers where presence matters. This decade wants to turn your name into a magnet. Your most fortunate years in this new cycle are 2026, 2029, 2032, and 2035. In 2026, doors open through recognition. Someone important may notice your talent. Your public image can strengthen, your income can increase, and your courage may bring immediate reward. 2029 is a major business and career year. This is when Leo can step into management, launch a brand, expand a platform, or become known for something unique and unforgettable. 2032 is especially lucky in love and family matters. It can bring marriage, emotional healing, the return of joy, or a relationship that supports your greatness instead of competing with it. 2035 becomes a crown year, a time of prestige, financial success, and visible achievement. Love during this 10-year cycle becomes brighter and more honest. You are no longer meant to beg for crumbs or confuse intensity with devotion. Your happiness comes through being chosen clearly. You will be luckiest with partners who admire your heart, celebrate your ambition, and do not shrink when you shine. In work, your full realization comes through leadership and originality. Leo suffers in places where they must dim themselves to make others comfortable. This cycle ends that. You are being called toward rooms where your voice matters. The last week of March may be the exact moment you feel it. A strange certainty that the smaller version of your life no longer fits. Trust that feeling. This is the beginning of a decade when you can rise not only in wealth and status, but in self-respect. And when Leo gains self-respect, abundance follows. Libra, your cycle of happiness begins like a beautiful door quietly opening after years of emotional and financial uncertainty. The last week of March brings an energetic reset that can change your future in ways you do not yet fully understand. Something that felt delayed, unbalanced, or unfair begins to move into harmony. For many Libras, this new 10-year chapter will be connected to love, success through partnership, social elevation, creative recognition, and a more luxurious, stable, and elegant way of living. You are one of the signs most likely to bloom dramatically once the right energies, people, and timing align, and that alignment begins now. This spring carries extraordinary promise for you because it helps you attract rather than force. That is your secret power. Libra rarely wins through pressure. You win through grace, intelligence, timing, and irresistible magnetism. During the last week of March, you may notice that conversations shift in your favor, people respond differently to you, and opportunities begin arriving through collaboration, beauty, diplomacy, audience building, or relationships. This is a decade where the right connection can change your whole life. Some Libras will marry well. Some will build a brand that attracts admiration and money. Some will enter careers where their taste, charm, and emotional intelligence become their goldmine. You are especially lucky in law, design, beauty, fashion, social media, art, consulting, events, PR, luxury services, mediation, and all fields where refinement and human understanding matter. Your most blessed years in this new cycle are 2026, 2027, 2030, and 2033. In 2026, the universe begins correcting old imbalances. This may bring the right partner, a better contract, a fresh opportunity in career, or the courage to leave what drains your spirit. 2027 is especially fortunate for love and emotional happiness. This is a year when Libra may experience a faded romance, engagement, marriage, or the healing of a relationship that becomes stronger than before. 2030 favors work, public image, and money. Many Libras will rise beautifully then through elegance, communication, art, or leadership in people-centered fields. 2033 becomes a fulfillment year, when what you have built emotionally and materially begins to feel real, visible, and secure. In love, your greatest luck over the next 10 years comes through reciprocity. No more one-sided stories. No more trying to be enough for people who arrive half-hearted. Your happiness cycle begins when you stop confusing chemistry with destiny and choose what is balanced, mutual, and emotionally intelligent. In business and work, you realize yourself most fully where relationships matter, where aesthetics matter, and where your natural gift for creating peace out of tension becomes invaluable. You are not here merely to be liked. You are here to become unforgettable. The last week of March may bring your first clue through a romantic opening, a powerful agreement, a creative spark, or an unexpected invitation that places you in a more fortunate circle. Say yes to what feels aligned, beautiful, and expansive. Your decade of happiness begins when you finally allow life to become as good on the outside as your soul has always imagined it could be. Scorpio. Scorpio, your new 10-year cycle of happiness begins with power returning to your hands. The last week of March marks the beginning of a chapter in which you stop merely surviving emotional storms and begin using your strength to build a life that is both prosperous and deeply satisfying. Few signs know how to transform pain into purpose the way you do. And that is exactly why this cycle can be so extraordinary for you. You are not being rewarded for luck alone, you are being rewarded for everything you learned in silence, for every time you rebuilt yourself in the dark, and for every moment you chose dignity over collapse. This spring activates your hidden magnetism in a spectacular way. People may suddenly trust you more, desire your attention, seek your advice, or want to work with you. Opportunities that once felt closed can open almost mysteriously. The last week of March may bring a decisive conversation, a financial opening, a career shift, or a romantic development that feels destined. Scorpio is one of the signs most capable of becoming incredibly successful when they finally stop underestimating their own influence. This decade favors you in fields connected to finance, psychology, medicine, research, investigation, healing, law, strategy, leadership, crisis management, entrepreneurship, and all areas where courage, intuition, and emotional intelligence are priceless. You do not rise by being loud. You rise by being undeniable. Your most fortunate years in this cycle are 2026, 2029, 2030, and 2034. In 2026, the cycle begins with movement in money, work, and confidence. You may change direction, gain a powerful ally, or receive an opportunity that places you on a more meaningful path. 2029 becomes one of your strongest years for business and financial growth. This is when Scorpio can launch a major project, multiply income, build a loyal client base, or enter a role of serious authority. 2030 is blessed for love, healing, and emotional rebirth. Many Scorpios will leave behind old heartbreak patterns and enter a relationship that feels deeper, safer, and more mature. 2034 is a year of visible legacy, the period when what you have built becomes stable, profitable, and respected. In love, your happiness will come through emotional truth. No more games, no more endless tests, no more relationships where you love more deeply than the other person is willing to meet you. This cycle teaches you that real love does not fear depth, it honors it. You will be luckiest in bonds where loyalty, intimacy, devotion, and trust are mutual. In work and career, your greatest realization comes where you are allowed to use your full intensity, strategic mind, and gift for seeing what others miss. You are not meant for shallow success. You are meant for powerful success. The last week of March may feel like the first crack in the wall that has held back your joy. Let it break. What enters now is not temporary luck. It is a decade that can change your status, your wealth, your love story, and your sense of self forever. Capricorn. Capricorn, the 10-year cycle of happiness that begins for you in the last week of March may become one of the most important turning points of your adult life. You are one of the signs destined to become richer, stronger, more admired, and far more fulfilled over the next decade, not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because everything you have worked for begins to gain real momentum. Capricorn understands patience better than almost anyone. You know how to carry responsibility, keep going when no one claps for you, and build step by step even when the reward seems far away. Now the reward begins to arrive. This spring is especially powerful for you because it opens the gates of long-term success. The last week of March may bring a professional breakthrough, a new position, a decision about property or relocation, an important connection, or a moment when you realize that you are ready for much more. Capricorn's luck during this cycle is not random, it is structured, intelligent, and deeply rewarding. You are especially fortunate in business, management, finance, administration, construction, real estate, politics, consulting, education, law, leadership, and any field where discipline, credibility, and vision create lasting results. You have the rare ability to build success that does not fade. This is your decade to prove it. Your most fortunate years in this cycle are 2026, 2028, 2031, and 2035. In 2026, the first doors open. A new career path, leadership role, financial stabilization, or public recognition may begin now. 2028 is a major year for material growth, property, investment, business expansion, savings, and major life upgrades are strongly favored. 2031 brings luck in relationships and emotional grounding. This may be the year of marriage, a life-changing partnership, or a deep sense of family happiness that makes your outer success feel complete. 2035 stands out as a peak year in career and legacy. Many Capricorns will reach a visible milestone, then becoming a boss, an authority, a respected expert, or the owner of something significant and lasting. In love, you will be luckiest where loyalty is demonstrated through action. Grand promises will no longer impress you if they are not backed by consistency. This cycle brings relationships that feel solid, grown, supportive, and worthy of your trust. Your heart becomes happier when your life becomes calmer, and this decade offers exactly that. Fewer emotional drains, more mature devotion. In work, you will realize yourself most fully where you can lead, organize, create systems, and turn vision into reality. Capricorn is not here just to work hard forever. Capricorn is here to build a mountain and then stand on top of it. The last week of March may be the exact moment when you feel a new seriousness about your future. But this time it is not heavy. It is exciting. It is the feeling that something real is finally beginning. Trust it. Over the next 10 years, you may achieve the kind of success that once seemed too distant to imagine. Your happiness cycle begins the moment you stop living only for duty and allow yourself to receive the rewards you have earned.